I'm scared of snakes? What? What's up? Welcome to What's Up Wednesday. Yes, it is not known as Wacky Wednesday any longer. This is now known as What's Up Wednesday, meaning what's up is anything that's going on at this point in time, we will talk about it. Welcome to DER Reptiles. My name is Donnie, and today we're going to talk about, yes, at one point in time, I was scared to death of snakes. You might be thinking, if you were scared of snakes, why in the world are you breeding them? Well, that's what I'm about to tell you. I know I've told this story before, but I figured I'll just sit down here and we'll have another little chat about it. That way you can completely understand where I'm coming from. So when I was a kid, yeah, I spent part of the time on the farm with my dad. Spent most of the time in the city with my mom. And in the city, of course, I don't want to call it city. It was a small town of, I think, 700 to 1,000 people. So everybody knew what everybody else's business was. So, on the weekends, during the summer, all types of, holidays and stuff, I'd be out on the farm, fishing, riding my motorcycle, just doing kid stuff. And I never really interacted with snakes that much. Yes, we had them. Yes, there was probably some water snakes. We had more water moccasins than anything. So I was, told, don't mess with them. They're poison venomous. So I didn't. I wasn't really one of them boys that brought home lizards and brought home snakes and brought home, all these types of little reptiles and stuff. But I mainly, when I was out there, I worked. My grandpa owned a hog farm, which later my uncle bought it, and my dad worked out there full time, and I just worked around hogs all my life. Well, up until teenage years. So that was, fine. I wasn't scared of pig poop and all that. I'd get right down there dirty and do anything I needed to do with them. Fix the pins or give them shots or, anything like that. But I just never really interacted with snakes. So then the time went on, and my dad passed away, and I was, I think, let's see here, I was 21 when he passed away. And then I've just been in city life. So I never really interacted with snakes. Because all I do is I go to work and I go home. I go to the stores and I go home. And I started watching YouTube back in 2016. And I started watching Brian Barczyk, Snake Bites TV. And I started watching Always Evolving Pythons. Started watching Going Youper. And a couple more. And I just was amazed at how the ball pythons looked. And what all you could do with them. And I'm like, they're small. Yeah, they get 5 feet, but that's big, but yet it's small. Very manageable. So, in late 2016, I went to a pet store. By this time, I already had a bearded dragon. So I went to this pet store, was looking around, and just so happened that they was having a sale on ball pythons the next day. So I was looking at them, kind of They was over on the table, and I was, kind of looking at them. I didn't want to get too close to them because I was still scared of them. and other customers was coming in looking at them, pulling one out here and there, looking at it. I was like, man, that one looks real neat. And it was a pied ball python. And do you want to hold it? Not really, but yeah, I do. So they got it out. I was holding it. I held it for like an hour and a half. Had a little emoji on it. You know, it was real neat. It's like, man. It was on sale the next day, so I was like, I'll be back tomorrow to pick this guy up. I think I'll be able to handle it. So I bought the stuff for it, came home, set it all up. Of course, I was still nervous about it, so I went to Walmart. And I got these, you know, the latches that you put the lock on. This is funny. I had a 20-gallon long tank, the one that's got the sliding screen that goes over top. So I put the latches on the ends, and then I put small padlocks on it so it wouldn't come out. And so I cemented them on there, and the next day I went and they opened up at 11 o'clock. I was there at 10:30 waiting. First customer in the door. Got that guy, brought him home, and put him in the tank. And he sat in the middle of that tank there for a little bit. And then he started moving around. You know how they do in the tank? They go and climb up the side, try to get out of the top. It just made me nervous as heck. So I was like, well, I'll see what I can do, you know. The next morning I woke up kind of scared to get out of bed because I didn't know if that thing got out and I was going to step on it. So I made up my mind, I'm going to take it back. I cannot handle this. So I took him back. And about 3 weeks later, after watching more and more Snake Bites TV and all these other educational YouTubers, I was like, okay, I know what to look for if they're going to bite. I think I'll be alright. So I got on BHB Reptiles, and I like the albino gene. So I was like, well, I'm going to get an albino, but I want a female, just in case it works out and I want to breed. That's how I got Bonnie. And lo and behold, I got her. Pulled her out of the bag, you know, looking at her. Boy, you're all nice, you know, cute, pretty, beautiful. Put her in her tank. And I went to work the next day. After I got off work, I called him back and I said, yeah, I just want to let you know I got her. She's beautiful. I appreciate it. She seems to be very docile. I said, but can you tell me the hatch date and what her parents were? They're like, yeah, we can do that. And she's like, well, she was born on August 29th, 2016. I said, whoa, really? August 29th? And they're like, yeah. That's my daughter's birthday. I gotta keep this one. So she was born, I believe, I'd have to look at my records, but I think it was a visual and a head. So that is how I got over being afraid of snakes. I watched and did research, knew exactly what I was getting myself into, knew exactly the setup I was needing to make this thing healthy, and that's how I did it. I hope you enjoyed that story. Now, let's go to the next segment. So on this episode of Twist 'em Up Thursday, we're going to talk about quarantining your reptiles. More specific, how I quarantine my snakes. Should I quarantine my snakes? Well, that is to me, you see a lot of different opinions on it. Kind of like a controversial subject. But it's not really, if you think about it. So here's my opinion on quarantining reptiles. Snakes specifically. So, say you go to an expo and you have snakes at home, and you walk up to this breeder that is well known, has a very good reputation of giving healthy animals, reptiles, whatever he is, and you decide you wanted a beautiful snake. And knowing that reptile breeder, that snake, was going to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. So, you get it and you bring it home. You don't think in your head that you need to quarantine it because you're getting it from a reputable breeder. A reputable, yeah. And you don't breed it, or you don't quarantine it, you throw it right into your collection, everybody gets sick, everybody gets mites. Well, that's your mistake. The reason I say that is even though that you got it from a from a good breeder, I can't even talk today, you still went to a reptile expo to get it. He, for instance, has good animals that are healthy. But breeder B over here may not take that good care of his animals, and they might have mites all over the place. Just because breeder over here is good, that guy over there is bad, that don't mean that the good breeder, their snakes are going to be 100% mite-free and all that when you get them. So you need to quarantine your animals for at least, I would say, 60 days getting it from a show, because you don't know. Now, on the flip side of that coin, you know that breeder, and you contact him at his place, his breeder place, and you want a snake, and he ships it directly from his facility to you. Yes, that I would still quarantine. Not as long, but I would still quarantine it, because that snake is traveling. That does stress out the snake. So here is how I quarantine. What I do is, I don't have any in quarantine right now, but I'll have a rack set up in a different room that is not close to my collection. And it's kind of hard right now because I got here, there, and in there. And I can't put a quarantine rack in that front bedroom just because of the rats. So I would move stuff around to before I got the snake and set up a quarantine rack. Okay? So, what do? Well, I treat my tub with, I've got to find it, Preventamine. I will treat my tub, and this may be excessive, but I will treat it several times throughout the week before I get that snake. And then the day before I get the snake, I'll do it again. And I might even do it right before I go to the show. Yes, that's overdoing it, but I want to make sure I'm covered. So, after I treat the tub with that, I have reptile spray. What I do is I bring the snake home. I wipe it down with reptile spray really good. I put it on the paper towel, rub it, make sure there's nothing that comes off. That way, if there happens to be mites, you can take them off with that. Then you put the snake in the quarantine rack and leave him in there. Don't bother him for the first week. Let him get adapted to his new surroundings. Offer him food. Make sure he's eating. Make sure he's pooping correctly or properly. Make sure he's shedding right. Make sure you don't see any symptoms of anything. As far as an RI, or make sure you don't see any little mites in his tub. That's just stuff you got to look for whenever you get a new snake. You have to be careful. Make sure you buy your stuff, your snakes, from a from a breeder that you trust very, very well. I get my stuff from people that I trust. I've gotten a couple from where I didn't. I just got lucky. So, but because of what I'm trying to do, I'm not going to get any snake from anybody that I don't trust. So, there you go. That is how I set up my quarantine rack. And what I'll do is all of my collection is on paper, which is this wrapping paper, or, and I know this is a controversial one also, paper towels. I would set up a quarantine rack basically like this, or paper, depending on how big the animal was, or how big the snake was. If it was Belle's size, she'd go in a tub about this size, which is a 32 quart, which she's getting changed to a 28 this weekend. Or if she was a hatchling, like this classic right here, then she would go in a hatchling rack. But I would still set it up with paper towel and water, or paper and water. That way you can tell if the snake has mites or anything like that. I hope you guys enjoyed the vlog today. It's a little bit longer vlog, but I know you guys deserved it. I put a lot of information out there. Hopefully it helps you out. Comment down below, let me know what you think. And until next time, I will see you on my next vlog.